Shalom. All praises, honor, and glorification unto our power. Call Halainla Eloheinu Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Wadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations as well as health and wellness unto the hopeful elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai scattered across the earth. This is your brother Allah coming to you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson will be Use of the Modern Day Sword is Increasing. Right, and Lord willing, the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai be edified. And this lesson will pretty much be a land back off of the video that the brother put up, whose channel was entitled GMS Spiritual War. And the video was entitled More Than 6,000 People Have Been Deleted by Gun Violence, Homicides, and Suicides this year so far. This year referring to 2023, right? And the brother brought out an article, which I'm going to get a bit into that same article. Right, so, once again, Lord willing, the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai be edified, and let's get right into it. And, also regarding the title, the modern day sword is talking about the gun, right? So, getting into this article, the heading of it reads, More than 6,000 people killed in gun violence so far in 2023, right? And under that, it says more than, which that's like a subtitle. It says more than half of all gun violence deaths this year were deaths by suicide, Salakia. And it has a video too, so I won't play the video, but for you sincere Akim Wa'akwat out there that want to go ahead and watch the video, I'll put the link to this article within the description, right? So that way, make it easier for you to just access the video. Right, it says, by the numbers, America has a gun violence problem. A look at the level of gun violence in the U.S. through statistics. Suzanne Montoya, Bryan, AP. Right, now, reading a bit into this article, it says, shootings have continuously made headlines in just the first 2 months of the year. So far, 6,278 people have been, it says have been died, but it should be have been killed from gun violence this year in the U.S. as of February 2023. Salakia, February 23rd, which today is the 27th. Right, so this article is from 4 days ago. Right, so far 6,278 people have been killed from gun violence this year in the U.S. as of February 23rd, according to the Gun Violence Archive, or Archive, however you say that, which is roughly an average of 116 deaths a day, each day. Right, it also says deaths by suicide made up the vast majority of gun violence deaths this year, minus 56%, the nonprofit Gun Violence Tracker reports. There's been an average of 66 deaths by suicide per day in 2023 up to now, right? Of those who died from gun violence this year, 227 were teens and 36 were children. And that's insane, man. Right? So, reading under that, it says the majority of these deaths have occurred in Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Illinois, and Louisiana. The grim tally of gun violence deaths includes 196 people fatally shot by police and 52 killed in unintentional shootings, the Gun Violence Archive shows. Which, unintentional shootings occurring is unacceptable. Now, we know that in the bigger picture, ultimately, it's judgment of the Lord. But, matter of fact, I won't speak too much on that. But, ultimately, that's judgment of the Lord, because the Lord, there's many ways that the Lord can take an individual out, You had, recently, you had a horrific death, if you will, that, this stupid pastor, tried to fast without food and water 40 days and 40 nights, and his dumb ass died, you know. So there's many ways, man. You know, you had the situation where an individual's dog shot him. You see, so the Lord is cold, man. The Lord is cold. The Lord can take you out, man. You know, and the scriptures tell you the Lord talking about the Heavenly Father, have committed all judgment unto the Son, and now he himself judgeth no man, you know, but rather the Son, right? Matter of fact, let me get that. Let me get that really quick. But before I get, matter of fact, I'll get that first. Let me get John, I believe it's the 10th chapter, verse 22. I'll start at, bear with me. Hold tight. Bear with me. These typos. All right, this is the book of John, the 5th chapter. I'll start at 21. Now I'll start at 22, and it reads, For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son, that all men shall honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He that honoreth not the Son, honoreth not the Father which hath sent him. See? And you know, just kind of going back to the basics. Let me get Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, and verse 39. And it reads, See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Verse 40, For I lift up my hand to heaven and say I live forever. You know, obviously talking about the Lord. So let me also get 1 Samuel 2 and 6. And it reads, The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. Right, you also got Job, the 5th chapter, I believe it's the 18th verse. Right, Job 5 and 18. And it reads, For he maketh sore and bindeth up, he woundeth and his hands make whole. Right, you also got Ecclesiasticus, the 11th chapter, verse 14. And it reads, Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. See? So, yeah, you can read more into that article if you like. Once again, I'll put the link to it in the description. But I'm getting to the scriptures that I had planned to bring out. First, let's start with the 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. Let me see where we're at. 8 minutes, perfect. So, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, verse 31. And it reads, Even so in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. Right? You know, so utilization and use of the modern day sword is increasing and is going to continue to increase. Right? Let's get 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 14. So let me jump over a chapter. Starting at verse 14, and it reads, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Verse 19, A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And when you look up that word tribulation, right, it says a cause of great trouble or suffering, and that's what's coming. right? When you read 2nd Esdras, the 8th chapter, in the 50th verse, it tells you um, how many miseries will come upon the world because people have walked in great pride, paraphrasing it, right? But regarding the definition of tribulation, it also says a state of great trouble or suffering. So same thing, right? So let's see. Let me get that. Let me get 2nd Esdras, the 8th chapter, verse 50. And it reads, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." Right. So let me jump to 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, verse 8. And it reads, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and mischievous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber. Talking about famine of the word, which you read about in Amos, the 8th chapter and the 11th verse on down, I believe. And I'll get that really quick for the sake of edification. Amos 8 and 11. And it reads, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread or nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it." Right now, when it talks about sea to sea, that's speaking of the internet. You know, it's not talking about people literally getting boats and shit. And no, it's talking about by way of the internet. Verse 13, "In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst for hearing the word of the Lord." Right? So let's see. Let me go back to 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. All right, let me get verse 10. "And the reason shall be sought of many," talking about wisdom and understanding, or wit, "and shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency," which incontinency means lack of self-control. Uh, so then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. And let me prove that. Right, when you look up incontinency, you see it says, Salakia. When you see it says unchecked, uncontrollable, uncontrolled, ungovernable, unsuppressed, right? You see it says having or showing a lack of self-restraint or control. See? So there you go. So let's see, let's get verse 11. And it says, "One land also shall ask another and say, Is righteousness that maketh a man righteous going through thee? And it shall say, No." Right? So let me jump to Matthew, the 24th chapter, and we'll go ahead and break that third verse down, and then continue on. So Matthew 24 and 3, and it reads, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives," right, he is talking about Lord Yahushua, "the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" Right, which the end of the world is not talking about the end of the actual earth, right? That, because if it was to be talking about that, that would make no sense, right? The earth was created for the pleasure of man, in particular the Israelites. When you read 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter and the 54th verse, right? And man is always going to be around, so it makes sense that the earth would always be around as well. And to prove that, let me get I believe that's 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, verse 54. And then I'll prove it's not talking about the earth, but regarding that earth was made for the pleasure of, in particular, Israel, right? The nation of Israel. I'll start at 54, and it reads, "And after these, Adam also, who now made us Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Right? Who's the people that the Lord has chosen? The Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Seminole Indians. Right? All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. See, our talking about the Israelites. As for the other people, right, the other nations which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. Spittle is spit, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel, which a drop that falls from a vessel is insignificant, because you have much more water. So it's like that little drop doesn't mean shit, you know? So that drop that falleth from a vessel is likened unto you other nations. You know, you're a part of it, but you're not the main, you know, you should know what I mean. Right, verse 57, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, see, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us, and are reputed. Let's look that up. It's important to look these words up, you know, generally believed to exist or be something specified, but not definitely the kit. No, it says widely known and well thought of. So the heathen are widely known and well thought of to be nothing, right? Had begun to be lords over us, right? A lord contains rulership and dominion, right? And to devour us, but we thy people, see, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, and actually I have notes, which are pretty short precepts. Let's see. Okay, so when it says, and the people also whom thou hast chosen in the 54th verse, to prove that, to prove who that's talking about, let's get Deuteronomy 14:1. It says, ye are the children of the Lord your power. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the face of the earth. Right? Talking about the Israelites. Right? Also, you got Deuteronomy 7:6. It reads, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You got Deuteronomy 26:15, right? Let me see if this is any different. No. So let's go back. So second Edges 6 and 58. It says, well, 57, let me get this precept. So it says, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. So for there I have Psalms 107 and 10 noted down. Psalms 107 and 10, and it reads, yeah, it reads, such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death. Let me see what I got there. Genesis 15 and 13. Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Let me see. Bear with me. 6 and 54. Let me see where we're at. 19 minutes. Cool. All right, but we thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten. Yep, so 58, verse 58. But we thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands, which that's a part of the judgment that's upon us. Right, but let me get this. Ecclesiasticus 17 and 17. It says, for in the division of the nations of the whole earth he set a ruler over every people, But Israel is the Lord's portion, whom being his firstborn, see that? He nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him. See? See that? So, there you go, man. Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Now, going back to the point, Salakia, I just wanted to touch on that. Let me see. So we have Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 3. So proving that end of the world is not talking about the end of the actual earth. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. And it reads, one generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. Right? So the earth is never going to come to naught, showing you that that's not talking about the earth, but rather the end of an age. Right? When you go to the blue letter, that word world in the third verse of Matthew, the 24th chapter, is the word there for world is age, right? So that's talking about the end of an age or period of time, right? Let's prove that. So the word there in his Greek is aion, and you see it says period of time, age. Now what age is that talking about? Let's go to 2nd Esdras 6 and 9. And it reads, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So that's talking about the end of an age, wherein is the rulership of Esau, Edom, which is the self-proclaimed white man. Straight like that. So now let's go to the fourth verse, and it reads, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Jumping down to verse 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And, you're going to have people killing one another as well, obviously. Verse 12, it says, and because the iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Matter of fact, earlier today, I was watching a video that was put up by the elder Apostle Gabar, and it was dealing with the so-called black woman, and that guy, what's his name, Black Pharaoh or something like that, and the elder Apostle was doing a video, so, you could go to the elder's channel. I believe it's Daily Edification 4, and, but sticking to the point, because the love of the so-called black woman's love for the men of her nation is gone. It's not present, for the most part. Now you have certain sisters out there that may be of the tribe of Judah, maybe a so-called black woman, but they're in order to the best of their ability, and they're in the right spirit for the most part. But the majority is off, is wicked, man. Right? So sticking to the point, I had a few more scriptures to get, and I don't want this lesson to be so long. So let me get to it. 2nd Esdras 16 and 18. Did I even? Yeah, I finished it. It reads, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sin and scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. See that? So let me get 2nd Esdras 15 and 5, right? And then I'm getting ready to close out. Verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And lastly, I'm going to get, matter of fact, nope, that's it, because I already got that. So that's pretty much the point of this lesson. With that, Lord willing, you were edified. Once again and forever, all praises, honor, and glorification unto our mighty, marvelous, and wonderful power. Call Halimla, Halahayan Awa Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone once again. Salutations as well as health and wellness unto the hopeful elect of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai scattered across the earth. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Wa Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Babakasha, Abba, Wa Shalom, DTA soon and stay sharp. And you sincere Akim Wa Akwaki keep pushing. Shalom.